Good morning and welcome to 2-Minute Tips for Healthy Aging and Confident Beauty. I'm Sharon Danley, and this channel's focus is on inner and outer beauty and through simplicity, strength, style, and grace. I need to check and make sure that we are online here before I get going because I don't see anything. There may be a problem, but let's just see what's happening here. If somebody is there, if you could just give me a thumbs up, that would be terrific. Okay, we have a couple of people. Okay, so today's discussions are going to be two Make Better reveals for contestants 9 and 10. And then we're going to talk about how to use Selfies as a makeup and hair tool. And then, of course, we're going to have our usual Q&A. Good morning, Kathy. All righty, let's just jump right into our Selfies portion. And using Selfies as a teaching tool, allergies or something, is just a great tool, believe me. But there's some things that are important with respect to taking a good selfie. One is to stand in front of a window, to avoid your shadows, any shadows coming in. And you want decent pixelation, like you want a decent picture. You want a headshot, which is just like your head and your shoulders. That's what they call a headshot in the biz. Okay, so you don't want a whole bunch of ceiling, or you don't want a whole bunch of background. If you can keep your background clear, is good. And if you've got dark hair, then you want a lighter background. If you've got light hair, then you want a darker background, so that it shows your hair can stand out from it with a teaching tool perspective. You want to make sure too that your wardrobe is fairly neutral. So that it doesn't get in the way of your makeup or your hair design or whatever it is. The cleaner you can keep your background, the better your hair and makeup will show as your tool. You want to keep your chin, in my case, parallel with the floor. You don't want it up, you don't want it down, you don't want any of that sort of thing, because that will distort, okay? You want to look directly into the camera lens, not over here. Oftentimes what happens when we're using our phones as our camera, we're looking at ourselves on our camera rather than looking into the camera lens. Good morning, Sydney. So that's really an important thing to do. And your body stance. Now, this is something that isn't talked about very much. Having come from the old school of modeling, it really does make a difference on how you stand with how your picture comes out. One of the things you can do is stand with one foot in front of the other slightly, and the heel of the front foot turned out the opposite. Let me see. Let's suppose you're using your left foot to go out. Okay, it is in front of your right foot. So you turn the toes of your left foot to your left. Okay, and you turn the toe of your right foot is behind the heel of your left foot, and you turn your right heel to the left as well. What does that do? It gives you kind of an S shape in your body. A lot of what they do today is when they're showing modeling, when they're showing pictures and things, women have their legs stuck out. It's not very pleasant at all. It doesn't help the costume or the wardrobe. So standing well is important. Another thing that you can do is you turn your shoulders around, and then turn to look over your shoulder like this. But if you're doing those are fine for your profile pictures, but selfies as a tool for your hair and makeup, you want to be just straight on and straightforward. And the other thing, of course, is to smile. And when you smile, you don't want to smile. Oh, let me take my glasses off. Here's a smile. There's nothing behind my eyes, is there? But when I think of something, it gives the whole face, the whole smile, something to. It just fills out the whole look. Now, what I've done for you is I've taken a bunch of selfies of myself this morning to show what not to do. Here's our first picture. Notice where my eyes are here. They're not looking right into the camera lens. Can you see that? And the other thing is the head is tilted to the side, so I can't see how the side of my left eyebrow looks. And now if I'm using this for makeup, then I need to look straight on. If I'm using it for hair to see a bit of a profile, then that gives me what I'm looking for that. Number two, here's an example of not looking into the camera lens. Do you see that? And it slightly distorts. I'm looking into the picture of myself on the camera. And let's pull up another one here that I have for you. Now here's one. I don't have to say anything. I'm just not smiling. There's no expression on my face, nothing. And look what happens too. Now I have a very crooked mouth. And if I'm not talking or expressing myself and just relaxing, that's what happens. And it shows more. And if I'm in a feeling sad, see that? Shows even more. But if I smile, it takes that away. And look at how dull and my eyes look. I look like I'm in some kind of pain. And that's just only because I'm not smiling, okay? Now, when you're looking to use these as tools, you want them to, you don't want to do any of this. I'm showing you what not to do. Next, here's a great example of standing with your chin so that your chin's, when you've got your head back like this, that's not what you want to do. Well, at least those of us at this stage, I need a trust for my chins. So what do? I lean forward as if I'm, you know what it's like when you go to shake somebody's hand? You put your arm out, and I'll do it sideways, and your chin goes out like this. That will help to get rid of. So don't stand like this, okay? Stand more like this, with your chin not out like this, but there's a reasonable distance, okay? With your shoulders back and down and your head forward, it does make a difference. Now, all you young dames out there, you don't have these problems yet, but mark my words, the time is coming, but not too soon, I'm sure. Now, here's an example of a shadow. Now, I had to try to enhance that, and you can tell. But what happens is when you have a shadow, you don't get a true sense of the color, and you don't get just the right sense. And if you're using this, unless it's an artistic sort of profile or whatever, that's one thing. But not if you're using it as a learning tool for yourself. Okay, and the last one here. Now, here I'm looking right into the camera. I've got a smile, and yes, you can see my wrinkles and all that sort of stuff. But I'm thinking about something that makes me feel, happy or, warm and fuzzy or whatever. Whoops, I got to turn my mirror on here. Sorry, not my mirror, but my lighting. There, speaking of shadows. And you can see the difference that makes compared to the others. And this is all the same hairdo, all the same outfit. But now, this is just a sampling of what you could do. I'm going to be very honest with you. I took probably 3 or 4 of each one of these to get the right one to show you. Okay? The thing with the digital, with selfies is you can take thousands of them because you can just delete them. Now, the trick is to take enough of them so that you have enough that you get the right one for that day. And then what you do is file them into either into a digital file or print them off if you want, and put them in a file or something. And when you're learning something new or you're trying a new hairstyle or something like that, taking selfies is really important to see if you're getting it right. Now, here's another thing. Some of the tools you might need is a what do you call these things? A selfie stick, okay? So you're not you know how you're holding your arm out like, usually when people do this, they take a picture of themselves, they hold their arm out like this, and it distorts. But if you've got a selfie stick, or set it someplace where it's the right height so that the camera lens on the camera lens, not the phone face itself, but the camera lens of the phone is even with your eyeballs. Okay? So set it on a counter or something. You've got something, I'm sure you can find out what you've got that you can use. Stand it there and then use your timer on your phone. Most phones have a 3-second or a 10-second timer. Get everything set the way you want it and then click the timer. It gives you a few seconds to get in place and click away and take as many of those as you need. So those are two things that will help you get a non-distorted selfie. And if you, find some kind of a mounting system. I mean, I'll show you something. I got this from the dollar store, and I can put my phone, I'll even show you. I can put my phone in this, and I can set this on my computer, so it's right above where my web camera is, and I can set it so that it's high enough and it's right in line with my eyes, okay? Or I can put it on a counter someplace, or put it up on a shelf, whatever. But this is like $1 at the dollar store. So those are just, simple little tools is all you need to help with this. Now, another thing that I didn't say out of the shoot was remove all filters. I know this is a difficult subject for some people, but removing filters is essential. It's absolutely essential, because if you don't, then you won't get a true look of who you are and what products you're using or whatever. You will not get a true representation. Back to hair. When you're taking your selfies, if you've got a mounting thing, then you can put it on a timer and do a profile. Okay? Then you can put it on a timer and do the back of your head. When you're doing hairstyles, it's essential to see all sides. You want to see all sides, top, side, back, so that you get a true representation. From there, with these selfies, they help you adjust. Add a little bit more eyebrow pencil or eyeshadow here for your eyebrows. No, you know what? I gotta bring this side of my lip down just a little bit more, or I don't need to bring that side down as much, or any number of things. When you get a true representation of yourself and a tight shot. This is like a head shot, head and shoulders. Now, the other thing that's really good about selfies is you can do this on your phone and make it much bigger. You can zoom in, so if there's any particular spot you want to look at, say your eyeshadow or your gel liner or anything like that, you can see much better when you can zoom. So it's selfies, I think, are the best teaching tool in the world, along with getting some coaching if you're having difficulty and you don't know what to do about a particular aspect. So anyway, I'm going to leave that now for you, and we'll come back to it. But next, we're going to go to our first contestant for our Make Betters, and our first one is this person here. Now, she's got lovely gray hair. Now, what she's got is, do you see the sides of her hair? Do you see how it's a little bit fuzzy? That happens to all of us. At the nape of the neck and the sides by the ears, those hairs tend to become short for some reason. This is where hairspray and a toothbrush, works wonders to hold those little suckers down. She's got lovely brows, nice skin, but let's see what happens when we do some tweakage. Now, what I've done, and I have a little something here to show you too in a second. What I've done is brought the eyebrows, the arch down a little bit. And I kept them in the same color because that's pretty much a natural color for her. And I'm going to bring this, no, maybe I'll just finish the thing first and then do the bars. Notice also when we look at her eyes, how they stand out more. And what did I do? She's got a fairly hooded eye. I've just added more like a Brun color, Brun mixed with print eyeshadow along her lower lash line. And I've strengthened her eyeliner, her Waterline eyeliner at the top. That's all I've done. But it makes a huge difference. Then what I've done is notice the darkness around her eyes at the outside. I have just stippled on some more powder foundation and down the nose as well. And the line that she has between her eyes is still there, but it's softened. Okay, now we take a look at her lips, and you can see that I have raised a little bit the upper lip and removed the bottom lip from the right side a wee bit and added more to the center. Now I'm going to try these bars. I tried this the other day on the Facebook page, and it seemed to go over well. To just zero in on certain aspects. Okay. Now, can you see with doing this how lowering that arch, it's a lovely arch, but lowering it a little bit and raising the front end. And how do you raise? You just take away a row or two of hairs from the bottom. Let's look at that for a second. Okay, now we're going to go to her eyes. You can see the difference that the brows make, but let's just go straight to her eyes. Notice how in the after picture, how her eyeball has much more strength to it, or weight. You see that? And all that is strengthening the lash line for her and cleaning up. This is another thing, when you want to strengthen something, you clean up the background that it sits on. So having more even skin tone helps with that a lot. Okay, now we're going to go to her lips. You see, just the slightest little tweakages make a big difference. Okay, now I'm going to bring in her brow guidelines. Now this is, if you can see the guidelines, you can see where all I did was removed from the bottom front and added underneath the arch. So I didn't take anything off the top of those arches. I just added in underneath, and that's what helped to give it a visual of lowering. And if you take a look at the guidelines around her lips, you can see how it was the left side of her face. I had to raise that top lip a little and augment the bottom center and slightly at the side. Just let you watch that for a second. Okay, now can anybody tell what else I've done with this picture? I've lifted out the circumference of the crown. You see what a difference that makes? In her before picture, with her eyebrows being a little bit more pointed in the front end and her hair giving an impression of being more pointy, do you see how that adds to kind of a more pointed, fierce, not fierce might not be the right word, but it's leaning in that direction? Whereas on the other side, she has a look of being much more approachable. Now, before we go any further, I just want to see if we have any questions with this contestant. So I'm just going to go back up here. Good morning to everyone. Oh, it sounds a little echoed, does it? Excellent tutorial, thank you. Uh, okay. Okay, the audio is a little off today. Okay, let me try something.
Does that make it any better? If you could, does that make it any better? Just let me know, and we'll go from there. And Linda says hello, Sharon, and Multi Scrappy Doo. I've heard it's better to angle to shoot down. I would be looking up. Even a couple inches helps me. Got a couple chins I hate. Not when you're using this as a teaching tool. There's a difference between photographing for a profile or for things of that nature. But as a teaching tool, no. You want to see absolutely the truth about what you have or don't have. Does that make sense? Love the haircut. I'm not sure if you're talking about me. I don't. I have my hair rolled up, but I haven't shown any other pictures, so I'm not sure. Um, and we have a wow, great change. Yeah, it's amazing how just a little bit does a lot. She's gorgeous. You just made her more gorgeous. The brows, the brows, the brows. They make such a difference. Yes, JGFIO, they do make a difference always on everybody. I need to do that same thing to my brows. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Yes, well, you can always send me a picture, and I'll talk about it later. And I can do a thing for you, a make better for you with guidelines, etc. And Anne says foundation around the eyes makes her seem refreshed. She looks more relaxed in general. Thank you, Anne. Yes, foundation around the eyes. Okay, let's just say, and this isn't true, but let's just say the foundation is going to show up your wrinkles more. Think about it. Do you want discoloration, or do you want to see your wrinkles? Seriously, think about that. My choice, I'll take the wrinkles every time for the right color, because when you have a clear skin tone, then the eye and the brow and the lips stand out. When you don't have a clear skin tone, it interferes. Okay, and Wendy J, so much better. Thank you. Yes, it's better for me. Okay, I'm not sure if you're talking about audio or what. So anyway, yes, much better. Okay, yes, the audio is better. Mary Yamamoto, mwah, thank you for saying it's the audio is better. Okay, I'm sorry about that, ladies. Oh, gotcha, makes perfect sense. I'm not sure what that was in reference to, but that's okay. Much better audio, CJ. Thank you. The sound is much better. Thank you. Louise, thank you. You're on. Okay. Hairline, big difference in making her softer. Yes, Louise. Yes. And I posted a picture and didn't hear anything. I posted it on the Going Gray and Loving It Facebook page. Is that the wrong place? No. Please go into the search bar, pull up your picture again. If you didn't hear from me that you are in the queue, then you're not. And what you have to do is make sure you tag me. And if you have trouble tagging, because, Facebook is acting up as usual, then just ask somebody, one of the other members, to tag me, and people are very good about doing that. Okay, so search it out first, and let's see solve the missing picture. And Wendy, I use a tinted moisturizer, never liked full coverage. Well, that's fine, Wendy. If that works for you, I'm not a fan of anything liquid or cream. I'm just not, for all the reasons I've said over and over and over. Now, there are some people who love it. That's great if it works for them. The reason being, in the summer and in humid weather, it melts. It melts. But for some people, it it seems okay, depending on your lifestyle, where you live on the planet, all those sorts of things. So it's, if it works for you, then that's wonderful. And Char, what did you do with the lips? I can't see much of a difference. All right, Char, let me just pull that up for you again. And take a really close look. And you know what? I'll bring these bars back up again. Take a really close look on the makeover side, or let's look at the before picture. Do you see how on her left side, her top lip and her bottom are smaller than her right side? So what I did was I augmented. I made it a little bit bigger on the top left and the bottom left. Can you see that now? Hope that helps you. And Denise, hi from South Africa. Love your makeup tips. Hi, Denise, and thank you. Welcome. I live in the desert, not humid. Okay, so then that works for you. See, different climates, and humidity factors and all those sorts of things play into makeup. That's why for many on this channel too, the humid weather is humid and hot. So the approach of the dual finish powder is much better, and especially you can put your sunscreen on underneath and or your moisturizer. You got to give it 2 to 5 minutes for it to soak in, and then you apply the powder, and the powder just wears really well. You can apply it just a wee bit, just a little bit with a brush. You can get out the trowel if necessary. There's all kinds of ways of applying it. So, anyway, let's see. Cindy, the coverage is pretty. Wrinkles are softened and hardly noticed. Yes, thank you, Sydney, for that observation. And that is the fact. I mean, you could, if anybody wants to go on to my, what do you call it? My channel, in the beauty or makeup playlist, you will see, I didn't do this too long ago, foundation, how I apply my foundation. And you can see the before and after picture. And it's what I'm wearing now. It's what I always wear. And it wears really well for a long period of time. And to touch up, it's so much simpler than if you're wearing a cream or anything like that underneath instead. So, and you'll see in the before and after pictures how the powder helps to smooth out the wrinkles and the pores. The pores especially make a huge difference. I invite you to just go, take a look on that video, and it shows the process and the end result, and it speaks for itself. Okay, and I love full coverage. Not really great for wrinkles, though. Guess what? Nothing is good for wrinkles. Nothing. But the powder will soften it, but it stays better. Okay? And it's far less work. It's streamlined. It gets you out the door faster. You're not spending time with layers of different products on your face. At least that's the way I like to do things. And Denise, with eyebrows that are going gray, does a brown pencil work best, or those sets of powder plus brushes work better? I'm not a fan of pencils. One of the main reasons is they don't make good gray pencils. We're still a forgotten, demographic. And if you do find them, they're very often, they've got too much green in them. They're not a true gray. Bonnie Bell used to make a pencil called Pebble, which was fantastic, but they went out of business. So that's why I like to use the eyeshadows with a flat-edged angled brush. And the thing is, If you put your dual finish powder on first, it acts like a primer. I'm not a primer fan. I've tried them, several of them, just not a fan of them. But the dual finish powder will do it. And then when you put your eyeshadow on as your brow or over your lids, it will stay and work really, really well. Hope that answers your question, Denise. You're getting full coverage with that. Need to change that too. Oh, you just answered that. Oh, okay, no problem. And Wendy, Sharon, can you, I guess, give some quick advice on how to fill in an ice pick scar? Covering pores can be difficult, but filling in a deeper hole has been even harder. What technique would you use? Well, if it's really, really deep and you don't want to do special effects, okay, because I don't go there on this channel. I can do it, but most women do not want to spend the time with that. What I would suggest is using the dual finish powder and a sponge and stippling it in. Push it in. Push it right into the scar. Now, if it still has like it casts a bit of a shadow underneath, then take a fine flat-edged angled brush and dip it into a highlight. Same product, same dual finish foundation, only 2 shades lighter, and draw in the center. Fill in the very center of the crevice, okay? Because it's the shadow down deep that's showing that. So if you lighten that up, then it's going to camouflage it, okay? So then go in and then take your sponge again with the powder that matches your face, your main foundation, and then stipple in over top and just press it in like that. And you can also dampen your sponge and grab the product and stipple it on, and that will give you even stronger, slightly heavier coverage. Let me know if that works for you, okay? IGFIO. I started wearing the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation and will never go back to liquid. Yes, thank you for that confirmation. Thank you. And Gwen, lovely lady and lovely improvements. Yes, very pretty. And wow, GFO, worth checking into. Yes, if anybody wants to check, I always put what I'm wearing that day in the description box below the video. You know where it says show more? Click on that and a whole window drops down with all kinds of links, what I use, what I recommend, all that sort of stuff is there for you. So you don't have to go shopping around any place else. And Shelley, what brand of foundation powder do you use? I personally use the Barelle, and I like the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation. Again, links and everything are in the description box below the video. Seems to be straighter. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Shar. Maybe you can let me know. And Wendy, brilliant, Sharon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. And Yvonne, hello, Sharon. Hello, ladies. Do you ever wet the sponge when you apply powder foundation? The powder doesn't really give me that dewy glow, and my skin looks kind of dry. Okay, Yvonne, there's all kinds of ways of using it, but like I said earlier, you have to moisturize your face first. Okay? Just with a moisturizing lotion, not an oil, not a cream, a lotion. Okay? And Neutrogena light something. Oh, I never remembered the name, but I've got it listed. I use that. When I'm going to be out in the sun, I put that on, give it time to do its thing, and then I apply my powder over top. Give it 5 minutes. It's wonderful. You get a beautiful glow to the skin. You see, with the dual finish powder, your skin glows. With everything else, it melts. And when you're using a liquid with a powder, which you must do with powders and liquids, you must seal them with a powder. So that's a two-step process. No matter what they tell you, no matter what the propaganda is, you need to seal that stuff. So in order for it to work well and wear well. So why do two steps and buy two things when you only need one that does the job in a superior way, in my experienced opinion? And believe me, not only, I try this stuff out on myself and have for years, and I come to these conclusions having really test driven them. So moisturizing your face first, okay, and then put it on and give it about 10 minutes for it to settle in, okay? If you're going to put the powder on, then look, like when I put mine on this morning, because my face is going through another change, things are dropping and all that sort of stuff. It is what it is. But I looked and I thought, oh, remember, it'll soften up, and it has, and it will even more. So I can feel my my soapbox knocking on the door. Clinique makes an eyeshadow powder in charcoal I've used for years. Is that okay as an eyeshadow? If you like it, but here's the thing, charcoal on an older face for brows is too dark unless you already have dark hair. Unless you have dark brown hair in your brows, or it's black. That's a different story. But in that case, you only fill in where you need it. You don't go over top of the hair, only where you need it. Okay? I'm not familiar with that. I don't use Clinique. I like the MAC print because I can make it as dark or as light as I want. It's finely milled and it's got excellent payoff. It really does. So, but if it's working for you, great. Just make sure that your brows aren't too dark. Lip seems to be straighter, correct? They're not straighter. They're filled in more and just augmented on the one side. I hope that answers your question, because I haven't made anything straight. I've just followed the lip line in the curve that it needs to be, but lowered it rather than keeping it in line. Denise, thanks, Sharon. I'm learning so much. Wish I could send you a pic of me and my makeup for advice. Well, you can, I'll show you. I'll tell you about it at the end, okay? And Louise asks, does Barelle have any sun protection? It has a 15% SPF in it, okay? I can't remember what MAC has. So, who do I look for on Facebook, Sharon? I'll tell you at the end of this. You can just go into Facebook and go to Sharon Danley Beauty, which is a public page, or to facebook.com/groups/Goin, I-N only, gray.lovin'it. I'll put the links, and the links are below the description box for you anyway. CeraVe Moisturizing Lotion PM is recommended by my dermatologist. Well, for your nighttime, yes, that's great. I'm talking about daytime. Nighttime is the time that you put your use your more emollient lotions and potions and serums and that sort of thing. Not so much for daytime if you're wearing it under makeup. Okay? All right, so we are finished with this femme fatale. Let's go now to our next contestant. And let's see her before picture. This woman has decided to embrace her gray. Good for her. Now, let's take a look at, she's got some beautiful blue eyes, and very strong brows, and it's a lovely color, but look what happens when we do some tweakage. Just study that for a second. The brows. Notice this is, and I'll bring the bars up in a second, the brows, and then take a look at the eyes where they have been strengthened, and the lips. And then, of course, look at the circumference of her hair, the circumference of the crown of her hair. Okay, let's take a look at her brows. Do you see how her brows at the end of her brows are long? And what they do is, let me move this one a bit, they pull her eye down. Do you see that? They pull the eye down. And notice how her eyebrows are set back in, especially her right brow. It's set back in. So you have to bring that more in line with the tear duct on both brows, as you can see in the after picture. Shorten up the back end, take away some of that hair on the bottom side of the back end, and generally groom the brows. Now also, while I'll leave the bar here, do you see how her eyes have been strengthened in the after picture? I've put gel liner in her upper waterline, and I've, again, the powder eyeshadow for the lower lash line deposited in the corner and brought around to about the pupil. And then added a little bit more to the lid at the back end. Now notice how her eye, the color of her eye and everything just seems to jump out. Just with these little fixes. Now she's a good example too of it. Unless her brows become lighter, she's a good example of going to be a gray-haired beauty with dark brows. So in her case, I would not recommend a charcoal pencil, or I would recommend the print mixed in with what she has. And then that way it pulls in the gray of her hair and yet still honors the color of the brow hair. Okay, let's go to her lips. Do you see what I've done here? First of all, I've brought the bow of her top lip into the center a wee bit more. I've augmented the center of the bottom lip. Just the center. That's all. Doesn't take much. But what I've done that's really important is I've matted down her lip color. If you need to do some brow correction, doing it with a shimmery lip color is not the way to go. You need a matte finish. And then what you do is you add a shimmer to the center of the bottom lip and avoid going over the roll. Why? Because when you put shimmer over top of a roll, it catches the light and the gig is up. Okay? So let's remove the bars here. And let's take a look at her guidelines. I didn't put lip guidelines on this one. But do you see her brows? Take a close look at how I've brought them in, removed some off the top where it's rounding, and the back end took off a fair bit. And what that does, let you study that just for a second. You can always pause this too if you're wanting to study more. Now, when I do that, take a look at how it gives her almost the illusion of a lift. Gives her the illusion of a lift. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions regarding our contestant number 10. Let me go back up here. Okay, Linda. No, Sharon, my hair is white. Once was black, but a little darker brow seems right for me. Who knows? Well, um, how can I put this? It can look good, but it has to be done skillfully. Okay, I don't know what your skill level is, but it can look good. But I would I would recommend that the if your hair is white, completely white, then the MAC Omega and seen by MAC is a lighter version of the gray. Okay, it's a lighter version for women with white hair. It's really a good color, and it's good as an eyeshadow and as an underliner. You can use it for a lot of things. That's what I would recommend for white hair. Um, and the Omega is a lighter version of the Coquette, which is a true taupe. You can use that for a lot of things. Like I use Coquette in here because this is the shape of my eye. So I just tend to enhance the crease um, because it's I just do. And I use, like today, I'm using. Let me get up a little closer. I'm using Print. I'm using, and because I'm wearing a warm red, I'm wearing Brun and Brun. And then what I've got in here, in my eye here, is just the dual finish powder 2 shades lighter. I don't even do an eyeshadow for that anymore. I don't bother. It's not necessary. So, I've made my eyebrows darker. I can if I want to. The other day on Facebook, I made them quite thin and very light. So, if your brows are you know what? If you can send me a picture, Linda, then I can certainly advise a little better. But it's hard. It's hard when I can't see. Anyway, if do that, and we'll take it from there. Okay. And Joyce, lovely to see you, Joyce. So soft looking now. You really make us shine with these make betters. Thank you, Joyce. I appreciate that. And Gwen. You have made her face more symmetrical. That is a quality of beauty. Yes, apparently, like Marilyn Monroe, apparently had an absolute symmetrical face, and that's why photographers loved her. Yeah, symmetry. And here's the thing too with symmetry. And thanks for bringing that up, Gwen. They've done studies with babies, and babies coo and smile more and enjoy adults with a more symmetrical face. In the hunting season for finding a partner, symmetry wins out every time. Is it fair? No, but it is what it is. However, with some good tools and product, and with a little know-how, we can bring symmetry back to our faces. And as we age, where our symmetry is changing, because most of us, I've discovered, have one eye that looks a little smaller than the other, or one brow that's falling down more than the other. If I could show you, let me see where it is. I'm going to show you this picture of myself again. Do you see where the one eye looks smaller than the other? That's just a fact. However, I can help change that by how I apply my makeup. So it's just tiny, and like when you're tweezing your brows to get the right shape, you only tweeze a row, maybe 2 at a time. A hair's width makes a big difference when it comes to adjusting your symmetry. So just work, a hair's width or 2 at a time, and you will get there. Okay, let's see. Wait a second. And Mandy, good morning all. Just got here. Well, that's okay. You'll be able to see the replay. And Multi-Scrappy-Doo, woo, gorgeous. Yeah, she's quite a beauty, huh? And let me see what else. Louise says, I still have issues with gel on Waterline, but eyeshadow in Waterline seems to work. Any reason not to do that? Not really. I'll tell you, Louise, when I'm putting my eyeshadow down in through here, I often put it right in the Waterline there too. And if I'm using a pencil, I use the Annabelle gel pencil when I'm in a real hurry. And I've found that it will last longer if I take a detailed brush, dip it into my shadow, and just go over top of the gel liner, and it helps it to stay longer. I'm finding that I'm rarely using the gel in the pot, like the fluid line or whatever, but that's got really good staying power. So it all depends. Yeah, so I find it's okay for me. So, and everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's got different eye issues, all that sort of thing. And that's where everybody's individual common sense has to take place. And Susan, I'm loving this. Good, Susan. I'm glad you are. And Scrappy, she really does look like she's had surgery. Yeah, and she hasn't. She hasn't. This is the beauty of good makeup done right, with not a lot of product and not a lot of tools. It is not necessary. That's the demystifying I'm carrying the banner for with respect to beauty. And let's see, Rosalind, Newfoundland. Welcome, fellow Canadian. And let me see. And here we are again. Great to be here, and we're glad you are here. And let's see. Louise says, I love Maybelline matte ink. Should I augment with darker color in matte ink? Yeah, I'm always about two-toned lips. Gives you a 3D look. Now, like what I'm wearing right now is Flame number 25, because I'm wearing red. But because I'm wearing a kind of a warmer red, I'm using the number 150 Timeless Toffee in the center. Do you see that? See how it catches the light? But I haven't brought it over the roll. See? So, yeah, you just have to experiment. That's all that's necessary. Sharon, thank you for sharing your many talents. You're welcome. Well, you know what I'm going to do too is we're going into questions, because that's where we are, aren't we? Just got here too. It's the first one of these I have been able to see live. So excited. Oh, great. Well, pose your questions, Megan. That's what we're here for. Oh, we got somebody on the line here that's pushing stuff, and I don't know how to get rid of it. Michael Green, you're not welcome. This is not a political channel, so please leave. Now, does anybody have any questions with respect to the selfies? Did I give you enough information there to help you with that? I'm just waiting for some more questions to come up. And for Megan, when I put the replay up afterwards, you'll be able to see, right from the start. And I hope this sounds okay, gang. Anyway, so yeah, switch over to questions, and there isn't any. I'm going to wait a minute because I understand there's a bit of a delay sometimes, and I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Caffeine on a Saturday morning and hanging out with a bunch of great dames is good, isn't it? And Linda Gaber, good morning. I'm a little late. It's okay, Linda, because it's never too late to come back and watch the replay, which I will be putting up. Yes, ma'am, you did. I'm not sure what. That's okay. And Linda, we'll watch the replay. Yes, yes. And like I said, if especially with those gray bars, then you can just pause it and just study it, and make sure that you, if you're on your computer, you can enlarge the picture, okay, so you can see it even closer. And how do you get rid of filters? I'm assuming you're asking on the phone. All cameras now have beauty filters on them. I have an old iPhone SE, and I will be keeping that till who knows when. There is a lot of information on the internet now about how to get rid of them. Samsung is the most notorious one. It's not just the filters that have, the cat things and that sort of thing. It's in the settings. It's in the settings in the camera that has to be adjusted. So what I would suggest is go onto the University of YouTube, pose your question, how do I remove filters from, and put the name of your camera in. And there's all kinds of youngins out there who do, wonderful help tech videos that you can help with. And there's stuff online as well for that, okay? Great. And let's see, okay, I'm just going to call you J from here on in, because for some reason going from J to G is difficult. Always love these videos. Good, I'm glad you do. That's great. And let's see. And Louise says, yes, selfie instructions were perfect. Great. Glad you liked. And Megan says, thank you, Sharon. That's just what I was thinking. I'm not sure what it is, but that's good. And Mandy gave good info on the selfies. Okay, great, great. And Kathy, do you have a tutorial on how to fix ultra thin brows? Not particularly, because whether they're thin or they're thick or whatever size they are, it doesn't really matter. But I do have a video, and it will be in the makeup playlist, on brow guidelines, the 3 different ways of doing them. Okay, so take a look at that. And I do it on myself where I've got nothing on, and you can see a huge, how just, the trick is to draw in your guidelines first. That's number 1. And while you're learning, it's a good idea to draw them in heavy. Like this is print, which is fairly light, but I can make it as dark as, my Brun underneath here by just putting a heavier hand on it. So draw your guidelines in first. Check out that video, and I think that will help you, Kathy. And let me see what Rebecca has to say. How do you use the toothbrush and hairspray for the frizzies? Just spray it on the toothbrush and comb lightly? Yep, that works. Or you can spray the hair and then comb with the toothbrush. But, either way, whatever works for you. Sometimes I will spray, okay, let me see if I can do something here, because I always keep my stuff with me. See this piece sticking out? Well, I give it a little spray. And then I hold it. Puts it back in place. Until I pull it out again. The other thing with hairspray, it's water activated. When you put water, so if you dampen your comb and go over top of it, it reactivates the hairspray. So you don't have to put more on. Okay? Hope that helps. Char, lip. Sorry, I'm not And she says, the lip seems to be straighter with the augmentation. I don't see that. That's an interesting observation. I don't see that. Can you tell me where exactly? And Linny Martin. Whoa, just let's hold her down here. Maybe not the right time, but I wear my hair like yours. I'm 71 years young with sandy blonde hair all my life. But what to do. I'm balding fast and it changes the looks of my make. What do I do? Okay, I appreciate what you're saying. I'm a huge fan of extensions, clip-in extensions, not sew-in, not glue-in, not anything. Clip-in extensions and scrunchies and toppers. Now, if your hair is thinning through here, depends on how much it's thinned. A topper is the way to go. A topper just sits on this area here, and you can get them long now. You can get them in all kinds of colors. You can get them in gray if you're gray-haired. And it's very cool and lightweight, and they come with a monofilament top, meaning it looks like your scalp. When you part the hair, it looks like your scalp. You don't see the wefts. So the monofilament is usually in this area right here so that you can part your hair any way you want, and it looks as natural as anything. The other thing is the toppers that they're making now in the heat-friendly synthetic fibers are so improved. They're wonderful. I love them. So that would be the route I'd go. And the other thing with the topper is you can wear your hair up and nobody could tell that you've got any kind of a hair accoutrement on your head anywhere. They're fantastic. Love, love, love toppers. And with the synthetic, they retain their memory. So if you buy a curly one, and because they're heat friendly, you can kind of straighten them, not using too hot a heat, but a certain, I think it's no more than 290 or something like that. You can straighten it out. But when you shampoo it and you just shake it and let it be, it will go back to the form that you bought it in. Oh, I think they're just fantastic. I think they're just fantastic. Can you see how I love them? That to me is a huge answer. Now, if you're thinning throughout, then this is what I've been doing, is thinning throughout. I use extensions. I clip from here to here. Now today, I only have an extension in the crown. I didn't bother with the sides because I knew I was wearing it back. I have one that's the same length. It's about this wide that I place in my crown to give me that extra bulk that I don't have. Now, I didn't do my hair great. I just sort of threw it up and I used some hair padding at the bottom here to wrap my hair around. But what that does is it gives me the extra hair that I need to have it come out or give me the bulk, because I got a pinhead on monolith body, so I need my head to be a little bit bigger to help bring back the symmetry. Does that make any sense? I hope that's answering your questions. And I've got some links in the description box below that are to go to. Check out Godiva's Secret Wigs too, just off the top of my hat. So I hope that helps you, Linny. I love hairspray, but it makes my hair feel like straw. Well, depends on how much you're using it. I like and I don't get paid. I'm not sponsored. I'm not monetized. I get no benefit. I just share what works. I have been using the John Frieda Frizzies in flexible hold. You know what I love about this too? It's when I wear this directly after I've shampooed my hair and do my hair. The next day, when I comb it out, there's no stickiness, there's no stuff that comes out, none of that. And I find that the next day, my hair feels thicker because it's got the hairspray in it. So I think it depends on the kind of hairspray you're using and how much of it you're using. It's not necessary to use a whole lot. Remember that. Rebecca, and I know what you mean. I think I will try the brand Sharon uses. I think you'll like it. I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't like it myself, and that's what I use. I wouldn't recommend what I don't use. So I think that you'll find a difference. And a couple of other people that have started to use it find that they like it too. Okay, Char, looking to try the MAC, try the Studio Fix MAC shop in my area, but don't know what color to wear. Well, judging by your profile, and it's not, that's all I'm going by, so don't hold me to account. I would say that probably the NW would be because it looks like you have some cool undertones. Let me just bring this up a little bit more. Looks like your skin has more of a cool undertone. So the NW probably maybe 20-ish, something like that. Go there. But when you go to the MAC store, go with a clean face from here down. Okay, try it. Try the NW on this side. Then and if it's not quite right or you're not sure, a color that's close to it, try it on this side. Take a picture in the store and then go outside and take another selfie, okay? And study those selfies. See which one looks the best in the natural light. That's what you want to go by. And if neither one of them are good, then get a wipe, take it off, and try another. Take a selfie, go outside, take another selfie. Once you got the color, you just order it, okay? So I hope that helps. So I look forward to hearing that you've got something that works well for you. And Tanya, where do you find silver extensions? In the description box below, where it says show more on the page, show more, click on that and a whole window will drop down. And I've got a list of where to get extensions there. And Linny, thanks so much. I can smile again. Of course you can smile. The other thing you can do if your hair is not that thin is you can use Topic to help, camouflage your the pink of your scalp. You can use baby powder. You can use baking soda. You can use those things as well. What color does your number 2 model have on her lips? Let's just pull that up, Linda, and see. Let me see. Go to number 2 model. I would say I'm a Maybelline Superstay 24-hour fan. Liquid. Matte. The matte ink is fine. Doesn't wear as well as the liquid. But, everybody has their preferences. I would say this looks like Perpetual Plum to me. Number 55. And I would put a number 110 Pearly Pink over top. Okay? I hope that answers your question okay. Okay, well, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. So I'm going to go to our summary here. And be sure to take lots of selfies. Keep the best one for that day, date file it in a digital folder or print it and file them. You will be so glad you did do that. And of course, practice patience and persistence will absolutely realize your goals. It truly, truly will. Now I just want to bring your attention to if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. The links are in the you can subscribe right on the page itself, and please share with your friends. And if you are interested in the advocacy work I do around sexual abuse and that sort of thing, you can follow me on my advocacy channel. So again, I'm going to ask, because I'm not monetized in any way, shape, or form, nothing. I get nothing. So if you could share with your friends and click the notification bell so that you get bells. And this particular video, if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. It just helps with all the algorithms and things like that with YouTube. You can send me a picture to my public beauty page, Sharon Danley Beauty, or you're welcome to join us at Going Grey and Loving It, which is a closed page just for us dames. And for your Make Better reveals, you can join either page and send me or post a picture there for me to put you through the makeup spa. Okay, and remember, if you're searching for something to just on the front page of the YouTube, there's a search bar there. Just type in whatever you want and it will come up. Or you can go to the playlists, and it will take you to a page where all the playlists are on a particular subject that you're interested in, like whether it's hair or it's extensions or it's wardrobing or voice. I was a voice artist back in the day, and modern day etiquette, which is like something we all need. There's all kinds of topics there for you to choose from. Okay, today's quote: an authentic smile, active listening, attentive body language with a well-groomed presentation is beauty at its best. Well, that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time. It was lovely to see you all, and I hope that you remember to take good care of yourself, your loved ones, and the world around you. And if you've benefited from this video, please pay it forward with your own time, talent, or treasure in my daughter Andrea Main's name, in whatever postage stamp of the world you live in. I really believe in sharing what we have more than trying to take and grab more. We need to share more. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I really enjoyed your company, and we'll see you next time. Mwah.